Welcome back to Ask Rad Rat, where I answer all of your questions about skateboarding topics. Today we got one from Newgrounds90 who wants to know where skating would be without Gonz and Natas. So these guys both invented a lot of tricks and they pushed skateboarding, street skateboarding in a lot of different ways. One of my favorite stories about Natas was the fact that he was the first guy to try a handrail. Not that he landed it, but just the idea that he thought that up and he tried it and it blew everyone's mind. And then I think Gonz might have been the first to actually land it, I don't know. But the point is that he was an outside thinker. He was doing a lot of outside the box sort of stuff. The idea of doing a handrail was just this crazy new thing. But the thing is, it's been 30 years since that kind of stuff went down. And so by now, I think other people would have filled in all these gaps that they would have left behind. And, you know, maybe your favorite skater might not have started skating because they were inspired by them, or maybe different fad tricks would or wouldn't have come in or out of style. But as far as the actual level of skateboarding and the things that we do, I think it would have been pretty much the same by now. Street skating was going to happen no matter what, because as skateboarding got more and more popular, it was going outside of the coastal sort of areas where, you know, there's a lot of population, there's skate parks and stuff like that. And so if you live in Ohio or Nebraska or something and you want to start skating, chances are there's not like big concrete park, there's not a half pipe at your friend's backyard. And so street skating was getting more and more popular because of that, especially in the mid 80s. Skate parks were starting to go away anyway. So street skating would have happened. Someone else would have thought up the idea to do a handrail. Gonz invented, I think, the nose blunt, for example. But that would have come about anyway at some point. You know, all the flip tricks were already there because of Rodney Mullen inventing them on flat. So I think by now things would have pretty much leveled out the same, but it would have been a completely different path to get to this point. All right, my next question is from Color94, who wants to know, do you think Mike V is or was a pioneer to modern skateboarding? You know, Mike V went from just some guy to being pro like overnight. It's one of the fastest success stories, and his popularity just exploded. And I think he used that to do at least one really good thing, which was put out the first major double kick board. Now, there were a few before that, but none of them were really successful. And I think the reason his is maybe just because of his popularity. So maybe people didn't really want a big nose like that, but they wanted a Mike V board, so they bought it anyway. And then stuff, you know, switch and nollie kind of took off a little bit more because those boards were available. Now, the decks got more refined over time, but still that was a really big contribution to skateboarding right there. It's interesting though, because his tricks and his actual style of skating didn't really catch on that much. If you watch his part in Ban This, it's not that good. And he admits to that. He says that they would go to a spot and they would just kind of practice for a couple minutes and they would just use that footage and leave. And he said he really wished he could have filmed actual tricks instead of just that warm-up stuff. But you see him like bail a trick and then just pick up his board and jump back on it and keep on rolling as if it was on purpose. And you know, that style of stuff that he does, a lot of the step off, a lot of the foot plants and the you know, the calf wrap and flamingo, all that kind of stuff, you don't really see that catch on in skateboarding, which is weird because he was so popular. But I think that his behavior and his style and his more like aggressive street guy sort of vibe did catch on and kind of help push skateboarding into where it ended up in a little bit later after the tech era of the early 90s. So he did definitely have a big influence on skateboarding, and it might not have been the same without him. So that's all for this time. In the comments, let me know your questions for next time. I also have a link to my Instagram and Twitter where you can ask me questions there as well, if you prefer. Until next time, these are a lot more videos that I've done recently. I do a lot more than just these question and answer types of things. I do research from all corners of the skateboard world and make videos about them every day of the week, pretty much these days. If that sounds good to you, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and thank you for watching.